I mean, I think it's very, very interesting. Because I mean, when it's almost kind of sad, it's weird to think about it. Bernie Sanders like the little kid in the House or the Senate playground, and was kind of getting like bullied, like disrespected. And Biden, I mean, even though it was maybe a very peripheral showing of respect, kind of a ceremonial showing of respect, but he stuck out his hand and kind of welcomed him into the halls of power. Um, which is something that I don't think Bernie Sanders really ever forgot, and it plays a big role in the way he sees Joe Biden today. And it was like they're good friends. It does not want to go after him in such a way, which is really, I mean, it's disturbing for the future of the campaign, because if it's going to come out there and saying, oh, like the voters aren't going to buy it when he says, oh, my good friend Joe Biden poses a real threat to trade or Social Security. Like, I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, what's troubling about that is that Biden has long been a central figure in building the modern corporate-dominated model of the Democratic Party. Sanders spends so much time deconstructing. So if he can do that, if he can kind of push past that, it would be absolutely huge. All right, so we now turn to, speaking of Joe Biden, we just got another big endorsement. Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey has endorsed former VP Joe Biden for president, adding to what has become a near-complete consolidation of support from Biden's former top rivals, pushing him to the Democratic nomination. So Booker's endorsement came 24 hours after Kamala Harris of California endorsed Biden, and two senators will appeared with him at a rally in Detroit on Monday. Booker will also campaign alongside Biden in Flint, Michigan, earlier in the day and attend a fundraiser with him. The answer to hate and division is to reignite our spirit of common purpose. Biden won't only win, he'll show that there's more that unites us than divides us. He'll restore honor to the Oval Office and tackle our most pressing challenges. That's why I'm proud to endorse Joe, Booker says. The event in Michigan, which holds its delegate-heavy primary on Tuesday, will be another public show of moderate Democratic support for the former VP on the eve of a major vote in the presidential race. It recalls the Monday night 1 week ago when Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota and former Mayor Pete Buttigieg and former Representative Beto O'Rourke spoke in Texas for Biden on the eve of Super Tuesday. Biden and Harris were two of the most prominent black candidates for president, and their endorsements come as Senator Bernie Sanders, the race's leading progressive, scrambles to make up ground among black voters in Michigan, where they make up a really sizable part of the electorate. I think Bernie, the best place he can really establish is a place like Flint, who is actually going through so much and really struggling. And if he's able to do that, I think that'll be very, very helpful to him. The Biden campaign has made a strong showing in Michigan, central to maintaining momentum after Super Tuesday, where Biden captured 10 of 14 states. Though 6 states voted on Tuesday, Michigan, where Sanders' surprise victory in 2016 signaled the strength of his insurgent presidential campaign, has become a critical battleground for Sanders and Biden to show both their ability to turn out key blocks of support and to expand the electorate into a state that will undoubtedly be a major target for Trump in the general election. Sanders canceled events this weekend in Mississippi to focus his efforts on Michigan, effectively ceding another state in the South to Biden, while redoubling his effort in Michigan to prevent the former VP from amassing an insurmountable delegate lead in the early primary calendar. So it's going to be very, very tough because Biden has such a good handle on the South. There are so many African-American voters, and especially many older African-American voters, that have seen so much of the struggles that right-wing fascism can bring down on them. Like they were there for the worst of the civil rights movement, the struggle that was going on back at that time. And I really get the sense that they just want Donald Trump gone. Like, I've seen articles, Mara Gay, she wrote an article about this in the New York Times talking about how, like, they remember a lot of the struggle that was taking place, and they see Joe Biden as the safest route out of it. Like, a Democratic socialist trying to take them out and defeat Trump, they see that as risky because they are older, and they do remember a lot more, again, the same way a lot of other older people do in this country, in the way that, like, maybe I never would be able to. Like, the word and the connotation that socialism was viewed as in this country really not too long ago. Yeah, so Booker, despite dropping out before the nation's first primary contest, had previously campaigned in Detroit this cycle in an effort to pitch himself as the best candidate to re-energize the fractured Obama coalition and restore the black vote in swing states that Clinton lost in 2016. Though Biden indicated that he would most likely select a woman as a running mate, Booker's support for Biden as the race effectively narrows to two candidates will inevitably draw some speculation as to the New Jersey senator's future. Elected to the Senate in 2013, Booker, a telegenic former mayor of Newark, was long seen as a rising star in the Democratic Party, destined for an eventual national campaign. But he struggled to break through in the crowded 2020 field and ended his campaign early, dropping out of the presidential race 3 weeks before the Iowa caucuses. Biden, who achieved sweeping victories in both South Carolina and many of the Super Tuesday contests on the strength of black voters across the country, now counts the backing of all former major black candidates for the president, having earned the endorsements of Kamala Harris and Deval Patrick of Massachusetts in recent days. So Booker's up for re-election in New Jersey this year, and when he dropped out of the presidential race, he immediately transitioned into some of his campaign apparatus for a Senate re-election bid. Excuse me. Though his favorability in the state took a small dip as he campaigned across the country for president, Booker is still immensely popular in his home state at a time where New Jersey is shifting ever bluer, becoming one of the most Democratic states in the country. Of the 12 members the state sent to Congress, only 2 are Republican. New Jersey is the one of the last states to vote in the Democratic primary, where its 126 delegates are up for grabs in June, were seen as a possible final stand for whoever was left fighting for the Democratic nomination. But with the field essentially winnowed to a 2-person race and pledged superdelegates possibly tipping one candidate over the edge, it's unlikely the state will play a major role in helping to decide the nominee. So it's not like a Beto O'Rourke situation where Booker can really deliver a critical state both in the general or in the primaries to Bernie Sanders. So. Or Joe Biden. So it's a pretty big deal either way, and it just shows you really the consolidation of power going on in the 2020 Democratic race there. That report was from the New York Times. Here's some pretty good news. In a race between frack water drinking psychopath and the Green New Deal championing Andrew Romanoff, John Hickenlooper was the other guy. Hickenlooper, serial man. No, just kidding. He's not a serial guy. But the point is, he was running for Senate against this guy, Andrew Romanoff, big Green New Deal guy, underdog, Justice Democrat endorsed. He has claimed victory. Victory is his. He defeats John Hickenlooper in the Colorado Senate caucus. Very, very cool stuff. Both Romanoff and Hickenlooper, a former White House hopeful endorsed by the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, are working to oust Senator Cory Gardner in November. How cool would that be if we get an AOC-type guy in the Senate? That would be very, very, very cool. Romanoff's the former Colorado State House Speaker, garnering national attention in December for an apocalypse-themed campaign ad. That was pretty cool just to remember. If you're a little bit of a reminder of what's at stake here, and this is really, I think, a big thing that got him national attention, was this ad. It pretty much shows a guy in a bunker
most is the sunshine.
With a hazmat suit in the basement.
We've been here for a really long time now.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Temperature today is 127 degrees Fahrenheit. The air quality index is at 420.
This place makes me sad.
Heightened chance of large-scale tornadoes.
Which makes Mommy sad. Mommy says baby brother will be born soon, but that it's not safe for him. Or for me.
Anybody out there? Not go outside.
Mommy and Daddy fight a lot. But they say it's not my fault. Mama? just hope we can see the sunshine again one day.
Yeah, such a taste of this very, very dramatic ad that probably is better to watch. It's called Home, and it's like, damn. It just shows you the stakes at this point. So, in a pair of Saturday night tweets, Romanoff declared, "Our grassroots campaign just crushed the D.C. machine and won today's caucuses. The power brokers and party bosses in Washington didn't get the memo, but it turns out that a lot of people in Colorado want to replace Cory Gardner with a progressive champion. Thank you. We won the caucuses, now we need to win the primary," Romanoff added. "It won't be easy. The political establishment is hell-bent on crushing our grassroots insurgency. Will you help us fight back?" So, yeah, it's not quite over. Not quite over yet. So they still got to go through the caucuses now. He won 55% of the raw vote. Hickenlooper won 31% with 55 of the 64 counties, including Denver, reporting late Saturday, according to the Colorado Democratic Party. However, several counties will not report their results until Sunday. It looks like he didn't win the caucuses, though, even with those results in. Precinct caucus results will determine the number of delegates that candidates have at upcoming county caucuses. Results there will be determining will determine delegate counts at an April 18th state assembly, where candidates will need to have at least 30% support to get their names placed on the June 30th primary ballots. So if he wins this, and wins this by a pretty big margin of 55% of the vote there, like, that just does portend well for him on the June 30th primary. The caucus is one of two ways to get on the Senate primary ballot, and the candidates also can do so by gathering signatures, and only about half attempted the caucus route. So low turnout at Saturday's precinct gatherings amid the coronavirus outbreak had some Democrats discussing whether the tradition should continue. Anyway, so he's on the ballot and does have a lot of support, at least in these caucus areas. But while Romanoff platform campaigned on a wide range of progressive priorities, he has campaigned as a champion of the Green New Deal and emphasized the importance of tackling the climate crisis. As the candidate's website explains, a catastrophic rise in greenhouse gases, an administration consumed by chaos and scandal, an economy that leaves millions of us behind. We are running out of time to rescue our planet, repair our democracy, and restore the American dream. That's why I'm running for U.S. Senate. So groups supporting Romanoff's campaign include the youth-led Sunrise Movement, 350 Colorado Action, Indivisible Colorado Environment. Michelle Weinling, Sunrise Movement's Deserts regional organizer, celebrated the caucus results in a statement late Saturday. Climate change is a top issue for Colorado voters. And the results of the caucus were a referendum on Hickenlooper's climate record and whether Coloradans want a senator who backs the Green New Deal. In a state where politicians have put the profits of oil and gas CEOs above our health and safety, Colorado proved that Hickenlooper's record of supporting the fracking industry is politically toxic and voters are ready for change. So yeah, Hickenlooper, as the governor of Colorado, has been a huge supporter of the fracking industry. He very memorably drunk fracking water straight out of the sink and just gulped it down, even though it looked like it was like coming from a sewer or something crazy like that. Like, that is where he is at this point. It's really, really encouraging to see that, like, this is something that I just did not see coming here. I was like, wow. Like, this guy, he's actually challenging Hickenlooper with a very good chance to win now, especially after this caucus win. That brings him a lot of extra momentum, although he may not still get across the finish line. There's definitely a lot of more barriers that he has to face to get his name on the ballot and actually win when it comes to June 30th, which is when the primary is actually, I believe. But still, pretty cool stuff from Andrew Romanoff. All right, so now we turn to the coronavirus. Pretty crazy stuff going on with that. As President Donald Trump described as the worst person to be in charge of this moment in the coronavirus situation, the cases in the U.S. now topped 500 over the weekend. And it looks like... at least 16% of the cases are in my county. Yeah. So yeah, I just did the math there. So 82 cases or something right now in Westchester, over 500 in the United States. 16% of all cases are in my county, Westchester County, New York. Let's go, baby. Yeah, we could be doing the show recently or soon from a quarantine